Tony D and Little Joan in the background, and this is a screenwriter's rant on Mercy Falls from Tubi, a Tubi original. And it's a movie about some Irish couples who go into the woods looking for a cabin and then meet a terrible fate. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. Links in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys. Books 1 through 11. Speaking of the Pineys, I will be at Super Saturday tomorrow from 11 to 1 at Mays Landing at the Atlantic Cape Community College. So hope to see you there. Okay. So these guys go up in the woods. They're looking for a cabin, some kind of legendary cabin at a place near Mercy Falls. This is Mercy Falls here. And then they camp out. They're not sure where the cabin is, and I think there's some money in it. Is the rumor. Some treasure hunting going on. So it seems like a friendly movie at first. And then things go nuts. So it looks like two people are having an affair, cross couple. And the next morning, the two guys get into a fight. One pushes the other, and he ends up impaled on a log. And they go to help him, and this girl here literally slits his throat. And then tells everybody else we're all in this together, and so the only thing to do is to get rid of the body and go our separate ways. Now I'm not sure if it totally happened that way, but it appears to happen that way in the trailer. About 80% sure that's the way it happens in the trailer. I don't know why everybody would suddenly go, well, yep, she's right. We're in it now. Like, she killed him. She killed him. So she's some sort of psychopath, and then the plan is to go find this cabin and then go their separate ways. Whereas the rest of the group, our plan is to actually go behind her back and call the cops once we get to this weird cabin. Of course, she sort of senses they're going to screw her, so she starts killing them all one by one. Kills one guy with an axe. I guess she hangs another person. And she's some kind of super psycho that can kill people in the woods. The one blonde girl's going to stand up to her, though, and kill her. So there's that. Yeah, I don't quite like... It's kind of a clunky setup. Seems unnecessarily convoluted. And it seems like, well, what if that guy didn't trip and fall and impale himself on a branch? Like, you wouldn't have then had the impetus to slit his throat because you couldn't carry him down off the lodge because you want to get to this cabin so badly, or whatever. I'm not so sure about this cabin. So what if he hadn't fallen? Would you have just killed him? I mean, it doesn't really make any sense to me, but maybe there's more to it. So first act, I'm guessing it sounds like a bunch of friends get together and that they at least kind of know this girl, or maybe one of the guys is dating her and doesn't really know her that well, and they all decide to go look for this cabin for some reason. Not sure where the cabin comes from. At first it sounded like a legendary cabin in the woods. Like they weren't really going to find it. It was just an excuse to go camping. But then as it progresses, it seems like, no, there's an actual cabin. So I'm not so sure what the big deal is about finding it. I don't quite understand. So they go into the woods to find this cabin. That's the first act. And the end of the first act is one of the guys has sex with somebody he shouldn't have. And his girlfriend finds out, and there's an issue. Next morning, the two guys get into a fight, and he pushes him, impales him on a branch. He's dying, and then this girl, I mean, they show that in the trailer. She takes a knife and just kills him, finishes him off. And for some reason, this means that all the rest of the people go, oh, you're in charge. Now, at first, I might say that. The moment this girl's back was turned, I'd be gone. I'd be like, off to the police. Goodbye. I'm going to go to the bathroom behind those bushes about a quarter mile back. I'll meet you guys. And then I'd be gone. I'd be a ghost. Or just a thought, maybe overpower her and get the knives out of her hand, tie her up, and take her to the police. I don't know. But they decide, well, we're going to find this wacky cabin that they don't quite know where it is. And that there's going to be a phone there. I don't understand the cabin part. But they go, and I think they find the cabin because later in the trailer, they're inside a building. But later, too, in the trailer, she's murdering people. Yeah, see, there's the cabin there. You can kind of see it. And then later, she's murdering people. Now, does she murder them after the cabin or leading up to the cabin? I would think after the cabin, after you find the cabin. So what good was the cabin then? You found the cabin, and then the plan was to go your separate ways, but then you killed people anyway? Like, what? Was there a phone in the cabin? Somebody suggests that. Were there cars parked at the cabin? Doesn't make any sense. What year does this take place? Because did they not have cell phones? Does it take place in the past? Can't really tell. Third act, she's killing people one by one, and a blonde girl stands up to her and turns the tables and kills her. That's the blonde girl. She's the protagonist, I think. So, kind of a weird setup for a movie that could have been pretty straightforward, I think. So, I mean, I don't even think you need this cabin thing. Quite frankly, you could have a situation where a group of people go into the woods, just like this. One has an affair we shouldn't have. Girlfriend's mad. The boyfriends get mad. They get into a tussle. One of the boyfriend dies in the fight, accidentally. So now, as a group, without any psycho crazy chick in the mix, they decide, well, we could all go to prison. Maybe we should just say he fell down and died. And so together, they decide to throw him off a cliff or whatever. And so they do that. But then as they're walking back, some of the people who tangentially participated in this start having second thoughts. And those second thoughts start eating away at each other, and they start fighting, and more people die or get injured. And then that one of them eventually winds up to kill somebody else, and then decides, well, now I have to kill everybody. Something like that. Something that one thing stacks on top of the other. Not that just one person was crazy. I think that's a bit of a cop-out from a screenplay standpoint. Now, there seems to be some explanation, but why would you go camping with someone you hardly know in the woods and then allow this to happen? And I don't know, just seems very extreme. Seems very extreme. I don't know if I could suspend my disbelief to get on board with this, but it's called Mercy Falls. I do like the Irish cast because I like their lyrical accents. So it's a little bit like I Know What You Did Last Summer, only the guy doesn't come like a year later. It's like the same year, with a bunch of young, good-looking people slowly being murdered. I mean, it's like a typical slasher movie, really, in some respects. But that they're all Irish, gives it a little bit of a twist, I guess. Just feels weird that none of them have a cell phone, and that they kind of go along with this plan to find this magical cabin a little too soon for me. But maybe I've got the wrong read on this. I don't know. People accuse me of getting the wrong read on movies all the time. Hey, look, I'm not a wizard. I'm just going by the trailer. The trailer is confusing. But it is on Tubi, which is free. So it looks well produced. I mean, that's a low bar, right? You want to see one of these slasher movies, why are you going to movies? You can watch it on Tubi for nothing. It's brand new. It's Irish, so it's a little different. I say give it a chance. How bad could it be? And that's it for me, Tony D, and Little Joan. Check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble for our more bass takes. See you at Super Saturday tomorrow from 11 to 1 in Mays Landing at the Atlantic Cape Community College. Hope to see you there, and we'll see you